Joining us today, and this is not our normal set time for T-Votion, but there's a reason for that. As you see, I have a guest here with us today. This is my precious mother, Patricia Poe, and we're honored to have her here today. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and just thought this was the perfect time to do that today. And I will be doing this from time to time with different people for different things, where we highlight either an author or a life coach or something of that nature, because I want to bring something new and different to our group on occasion. So again, thank you for joining us today. Pay close attention to some of the details that we have for you. Here in just a moment, my mother's going to be showing each of her books that she has written and giving a description of all of those. Keep in mind, everything that we state on these videos today, we will put a separate post when the video has ended. We will make sure that we post all of the information that you will need, that you hear this morning from this talk. So I first want to, again, just thank my mother for being here today. It is an honor. I don't think she'll mind me saying this, but she is approaching her 83rd birthday. So we're so grateful to still have our mother with us. And you know, we grew up knowing that our mother was just an amazing person anyway. But then we grew up also with her reading to us, because back in the day we didn't have TV, videos, gaming, all the things we have today. So one of our cherished memories with my mom is that she would sit and read to us girls. We had the whole set of Little House on the Prairie books, I believe, and some other books, and just that was so memorable, just great times for us. And then lo and behold, I mean, mother has been involved in ministry. Of course, my dad was a preacher, pastor for all of my life, I believe. But she's been involved in Sunday school and taught Bible studies. She's even written a Bible study. Just always involved in that aspect. And I know she loves history and loves to read. But one day, and I don't even remember how many years ago, it's back in the early 2000s, mother set out to write her first book. And I'm going to let her explain to you what even ignited that inside of her, what was her inspiration, and then we'll just go from there. So bear with us, because we've not ever done anything like this before. So I'm going to be holding the mic. I hope on the live feed on Facebook you can hear us well. I apologize if you can't hear us that well on the YouTube channel. We're trying. So I'm going to ask my mother to first just say a quick word about herself, share with us about her inspiration of how she got started writing these books, and then we'll take it a step at a time from there. So Mother, take it on.
Thank you, Dorothy. I appreciate getting to be here today. I feel greatly honored that my Dorothy would allow me to come and talk about my books. The very first one I wrote a long time ago was just a little booklet of a little title, Tell Us a Story, Meemaw, about when you were a little girl. And it's just a little pamphlet thing of stories about my childhood for my children. I never had any of them published or anything, so I don't have them for sale or whatever. But anyhow, I appreciate this being here with you all today. And I want to let you know that all the books that I have written, the scripture verses throughout there is from the King James Version of the Holy Bible. I just prefer King James before I do the revised versions. So I suppose I'm supposed to just get started and talk about my books.
So I want you to tell us the title of your first book and what was the inspiration behind it. And even I think how you explained initially to everyone that these are picture inspired. So explain what that means exactly.
Well, sometimes when I see a picture, it just inspires me to write a book about it. And I remember one time seeing I don't know what you would call it exactly, but it was like a basket or something that had rocks or something that looked like gold nuggets. And I thought, now that would be something to write about, gold nuggets. And I wanted to give it for somebody, so I made it for Mina Louise. And of course, Louise is for my youngest daughter because her name is Dorothy Louise. And so the first book I've got to write was Gold Nuggets for Mina Louise. And the first printing was in 2004, and the second printing was September of 2007. It has a sequel called On the Front Porch Swing. Other books is How Two Mailboxes Became One, the Callahan Kids Trilogy, For the Love of Deborah, and Aaron's Choice. So I appreciate very much this chance to talk about my books. This first one, Gold Nuggets for Mina Louise, it was really not my intention to have, particular anything about the story, except I wanted it to be about a little lady who was the heroine of this book, and how she trusted God for everything in her life, and she prayed about things before she did it to make sure God was pleased with what she was doing. So here it says right here at the end of this one in particular, may you be encouraged by the faith and trust of our heroine, Miss Mina Louise Robbins. And that's what this first one is all about, Gold Nuggets for Mina Louise. And I enjoyed writing it when I did. And the sequel to that one is On the Front Porch Swing. Sometimes on the back of the books, it tells you about the story. But on this particular one, it just talks about me on the back and where we've been and how long we've been married and how many children we have, grandchildren, and so forth.
I want to interject right here. This is the sequel to the first book. However, somewhere in all the shuffle of moving them here and moving from place to place, we cannot locate the box that has this particular book in it, but we're going to go ahead and let her tell about it in hopes that in the near future we can actually locate that box of books, but we'll explain more later about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's just a sort of continuation of Gold Nuggets for Mina Louise, but it's her first 10 years of her life as a married lady living in a little community that she was living in. So I enjoyed writing that one to kind of complete. Like I said, usually the back of the book has what the story's about, but the back of this one is about the author, which is, of course, myself. So I'll just let that go at that one now. Now, how two mailboxes became one. On the back of this one, it tells what the story's about. If you will let me, I will read that, and then you'll know what the book is about. How two mailboxes became one. Harriet LaRue is bitter toward man and God for an abusive childhood, and even worse, an abusive marriage. Upon her mother's death, she inherited her grandfather's farm. The folks of the community church tried to win her confidence by showing love and concern. James Hawthorne, her neighbor to the north, has his share of troubles, but has always trusted God for grace and peace. His greatest desire is for Harriet to find that same peace. So that's what this story is all about, how Mr. Hawthorne is reaching out to Harriet and trying to help her get over her misery by telling her about the love of God and what the Lord can do for her in her life. And it's a very, I enjoyed writing this for more reasons than I can imagine right now, but I just felt like I needed to let people know that even with hurting people, there is people that has had their pain, but they've got over it and they want to help those now that are in pain. And now the Callahan Kids Trilogy, this is something else. I got this idea one time when I was riding somewhere along the highway, and I saw this sign that said Callahan, K-A-L-L-A-H-A-N. I thought, well, that's a different name. So I got to thinking about it on down the road, and I got to thinking, the Callahan Kids. That's what it is. I'll name it, my book, The Callahan Kids. So the first one I wrote is The Windmill Gang. Now, it says here on the back of this book, if you will, part 1, 3 brothers and a sister raised themselves with the help of the local sheriff, and so they survived loneliness, discouragement through the Great Depression and World War II. They find love, direction, and fulfillment through prayer and a trust in God, a trust that keeps them when life would have torn them apart. They fussed and fussed with each other all day long, but read scriptures and prayed together each night before they went to bed, and then they sang in the choir on Sundays. So this first one is about the first part of their life together, growing up, and how they learned to live together and manage their life together. And one of the boys there read where you could build windmills and make money and draw water out of the ground rather than just going to the river or whatever to draw it. So I had to add that in there, that's why they went out and started building windmills to pump water. So that one is, the windmill is called, the subtitle of this one is The Callahan Kids, The Windmill Gang. And then number 2 is after they'd grown up and started to leave on their separate ways, and the second title is Their Separate Ways. And this is part 2. Years and miles kept them apart, but their faith in God and love for each other kept the bond secure. And so that was, all these stories is written in the time from 1900 to 1949. And then their homecoming. This one was very touching when I wrote this one because of the things that had happened in the previous books. Through the war, hardships, loneliness, and tragedy, the years passed by, but God in His great love kept them and brought them all home again. And so that's what this book is about, them all managing to get home from where they had all gone to different parts of the world to live their own lives. And then for the love of Deborah, my husband's cousin, Deborah, gave me a picture that inspired this story. And so on the back of this one also, it has what the story's about here. My husband's cousin, Deborah Taylor, I believe her name was. Yeah, Deborah Taylor. She gave me this. But on the back of it says here, Logan Taylor could do most any job on the Hamilton Ranch. Brand, even run a chuck wagon when necessary. He could handle most anything that might pop up, except his heart, when the boss's daughter popped up. Deborah was thankful to find a friend of like faith to help her win her father's love and help him to find the love of Christ and the peace that she had found while away at boarding school. So I enjoyed writing that one too. Aaron's choice, I couldn't hardly keep from writing this one for some reason. I can't tell you just exactly why, but a 10-year-old boy wants a dad, and his mother is in no hurry to get him one, having been a widow for 7 years. Aaron joins forces with the preacher's daughter. She wants a mother. A chain of events seems to get everyone else's prayers answered, but in the end, Aaron gets his choice. And this is a very cute little story to tell about a little boy's faith and asking God for a dad, because his mother, like I said, had been a widow for 7 years, and she wasn't in any hurry to be married again. So it was Aaron's choice to have another dad. So I trust that any of these books that you all want or read, well, you'll be blessed by them as I was blessed to have written them. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mother. And might I add that I know a lot of my personal friends that are in this group and that watch faithfully the devotions, you're avid readers. And we are approaching the fall and winter season. I know we need to notify the weather about that, though. Let's get caught up because we're ready for that cold weather. But if you need some new good reads, well, I'm going to tell you, now is your opportunity. These are all limited editions. There will not be any more published. So when she runs out of the ones that she has, that's it. So we're going to make a couple of deals for you today. One is if you actually post a comment on this live feed on Facebook, and then once we post it on YouTube, if you comment within a day or two of viewing this video that you would like one or more, and we'll explain all of that to you, of these books, when you order, you will receive a signed copy. And she probably will write a little note to each one in the books, but that is only good for this video time frame that we have. So, like I said, these are all limited editions. What we have is all we have. But I'm going to tell you, you will be blessed. I am not an avid reader. However, when I pick up any of these books to read them, I really can't put them down until I have finished it, because it's just that good. But the beautiful thing, along with just a great story in each one, is that it is just filled throughout with faith and hope and scripture. And so it's just a really great read, every single one of them. So here's what we've got for you today. And like I said, we will post all of the details again on Facebook. And then if any of you watching on YouTube later, just comment if you need the additional information that we're giving. So the pricing on these books for any single book is going to be $12.99 plus shipping and handling, which we will have to work those details out at the time of purchase. A set of 3 books is $32 plus shipping and handling. You could choose any 3. That's a saving of $6.97. If you want all 7, typically it would be all 8 of the books, but because we're missing the sequel to the first book, we have 7 books. So a whole set of 7 books is a discounted rate of $80 plus shipping and handling. So it is well worth it, well worth the investment. And once you've read them, if you don't want to keep them and you want to bless someone else with them, that's even better, because this is kind of what her initial heartbeat was, is just to spread the love and the hope and God's word in such a way, but it's such a pleasant and wonderful read. So again, any of these that you would like, we would love for you to be a part of this legacy, if you will, because this is something very special to us. And like I say, once these are all gone, there are no more. So what a privilege and an honor to be a part of this. And of course, my mother can always be blessed by the financial part of this, since that she is now a widowed preacher's wife. Also, just some of these books have actually gone overseas. There have been people that have met her in various places that were visiting the States from overseas. She struck up conversation with them, and lo and behold, they ordered her books. I mean, I think quite a few of them have been sent overseas, and even some have made their way into some of the prison systems within the state of Texas, or maybe even throughout other states, just because they're just that good. They're just filled with goodness, and I know you will be blessed, and you in turn would be a blessing to her financially for doing this. So thank you for allowing us to do something just a little bit different today for T-Votion slot. But I know that I enjoy getting to hear Mother speak, and I'm probably going to have her come back and do an actual T-Votion one day soon, rather than talking about the books. Just have her come and actually give you a word from her heart. So I think she has something else she'd like to say.
Yeah, I just thought about what said my books is all over the world, but I believe this is the one it was. We was at some kind of thing up in New Mexico, and I had some of my books with me, and a lady from Australia bought one of these books. So one of my books is in the country of Australia too.
Okay, so if you have any questions concerning any of the pricing, we're going to have photos of each individual book posted, and then with the pricing details for you there as well. God bless each of you. Thank you for joining with us today, and we will be back with you next week, Lord willing, for a regular T-Votion slot time at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Until then, God bless you all. Have a wonderful